Hey guys, and welcome back to Gabriel Knight. Last time we got the keys from Gerda. Now we are going to go on to seeing what the museums have in store for us. Yeah. So guys, this is going to be sort of the museum slot video. So if it doesn't really interest you, then you might want to skip this one here. It does contain a lot of the backstory and a lot of hidden clues, so if you want to see that, then keep on watching. So first we're going to go to Neuschwanstein. What a pretty little castle that one is. Well, it's not very little, is it? Alright, and we have a tour tape.
Our tour begins in the entry hall. Ludwig II lived from 1845 to 1886. He assumed the Bavarian throne at the age of 18 when his father died. Ludwig's passion was building castles. He built 3 during his lifetime: Linderhof, Herrenchiemsee, and Neuschwanstein. Plans for a 4th castle, Falkenstein, were underway when he died. In addition to his obsession with building, Ludwig also had a passion for classical heroic German mythology, a taste he shared with the German opera composer Richard Wagner. Neuschwanstein is decorated throughout with themes from these stories, most of which directly relate to Wagner's operas.
Alright, and this dude's just leaving. He's had enough. And it seems like our tour is Queen Elizabeth, so let's just have a look and see what all these things are.
The paintings in this room are from the Siegfried saga.
Okay, I'm guessing it's some sort of opera.
These scenes seem to tell a story, but I have no idea what story.
He has a bird on his head, a bird hat head. What's this?
I wonder where that door leads.
Me too. Let's go there. Why don't you go there? He's gone now. He's here.
Maybe Ludwig thought all this luxury would help him sleep. Did they have running water in 1886?
I know.
The richly carved bed, with its canopy, resembles a Gothic building and its turrets. The bed's draperies were handmade by dozens of Bavarian seamstresses.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
You are now standing in the king's bedroom. The theme of the bedroom is Tristan and Isolde, the tragic love story retold in Wagner's opera. The opera was given its first performance in Munich in 1865, and its 20-year-old Ludwig attended. This is probably the most elaborate and expensive bedroom ever created.
I doubt it.
It took 14 wood carvers 4.5 years to create this room. It was this kind of extravagance that bankrupted the king. In the years before his death, he found it increasingly difficult to find money from any source.
Alright, what's this? So these are the opera paintings.
Scenes from the opera Tristan and Isolde.
Let's go in here.
This is Ludwig's private chapel. The king was a devout Catholic, as were all of the Wittelsbacher rulers. They supported the Roman Church even when other European countries were dominated by Protestantism.
Alright.
It's a beautiful crucifix, ivory and gold. The Black Madonna of Altadine. I wonder what her story is all about.
I don't know. She's holding a little baby with a little crown though. What's this?
The stained glass window depicts St. Louis receiving the last sacraments.
I think that was everything in there. Anything else? No. Let's go into this room.
The miracle of the Grail.
It's a miracle.
These linens look seriously expensive and seriously old.
Wow. That was a good observation.
I'm surprised people don't sit in these chairs when the guard's not looking.
Tour tape.
This is the king's living room. The walls are decorated with scenes from the Lohengrin saga. The king first saw Wagner's opera Lohengrin when he was 16, and it so affected him that he considered it a form of enlightenment. The tragedy of Lohengrin was his essential loneliness. This too was Ludwig's own fate. Ludwig withdrew more and more into his fantasy world of epic heroes and absolute monarchy. An ideal he was determined to create in his castles if he could not have it in his real life. He only wanted to be alone with his dreams, so much so that even his servants were kept at a distance and were not allowed to look at him.
What were you afraid they'd see?
That woman is very tall. Now she's gone.
More swans.
The swan motif is featured throughout the castle, but it is particularly prominent in this room. Both the swan and the lily were symbols Ludwig associated with himself. They represented his ideals of majesty and purity. The painting behind the swan shows Lohengrin's arrival.
Okay. Well, I think that was all we have in this room.
I can almost picture Ludwig in here.
Can you?
I wonder what he really dreamt about in this room.
But I thought the other room was his bedroom.
This is a reproduction of the grotto from the Tannhäuser saga. In such places, Ludwig could pretend he was one of his beloved mythic heroes. As the grotto personifies, the castles were solitary playgrounds built for Ludwig alone. He believed the masses were too coarse to appreciate fine art, and he seldom entertained guests. In fact, Ludwig had a standing order that upon his death, the castles were to be destroyed. Fortunately, the estate was in such debt that the castles were opened for paying tours only weeks after Ludwig's death. They haven't closed since. It is one of the great ironies of Ludwig's story that the castles that he was thought insane for building are now considered Bavaria's finest treasures. They have paid for their construction many times over.
Okay, so I wonder what it was that he was trying to hide. I mean, why else would you ask for your castles to be destroyed unless you were actually hiding something? I don't know. What's this?
The study paintings depict scenes from the Tannhäuser saga and the Wartburg castle.
Alright. Oh, there's a little bit of nudity. Ah, look at them. Oh, it's the guy from Good Mythical Morning. What's he doing here?
Pretty nice place to work. I doubt there's anything left in there now. Besides, the guard would kill me if I touched it.
Well, what she doesn't know won't hurt, will it?
This is the king's study. Ludwig spent much time at his desk, writing letters, drawing up plans for his projects, and studying his favorite authors. He loved poetry, history, and the classics. In later years, he also studied the occult. What affairs of state he did reluctantly attend to, were generally attended to alone at his desk and writing. His reluctance to meet with his heads of state and perform the duties of the king were one of the reasons for the charges brought against him in 1886. But Ludwig dreamt of true kingship and a true monarchy, and the small powers left to him after Bavaria succeeded power to Prussia only incited his disdain and frustration.
Shouldn't trust me. Right, so let's just go here, which I believe is the last place. Look at that sight.
Nice view of the Alps.
Ludwig's childhood castle, Hohenschwangau, is visible from the lookout in the Singers' Hall.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Engelhard courts Hildegunde.
Oh, okay.
Engelhart and the blacksmith.
I'm guessing that's Engelhart. That's a weird looking blacksmith. He looks more like Gandalf. He looks like a wizard.
There must be a story behind these wolf paintings. But what story?
I don't know.
The hunters tracked down Engelhart and Hildegunde.
Oh, there's no one here.
Hildegunde's imprisonment. The wedding feast of Hildegunde and the Baron.
Don't think she was happy. She doesn't look happy.
The death of Engelhart.
It's a dead wolfie. It's just tragic. Aww.
This is the final room of our tour, the Singers' Hall. It was modeled after the Singers' Hall of the Wartburg Castle, where minstrel competitions were held in the 13th century. The hall was built for small private concerts, but Ludwig himself never gave one here. It is said that during the last few years of Wagner's life, he came to Neuschwanstein frequently and performed for the king alone in this room. The hall is probably best known for its enigmatic wolf paintings. The original paintings were from the Parsifal saga, but in 1882, Ludwig had them replaced, supplying the description and titles of the new paintings himself. While all the other rooms in the castle show scenes from Wagner's operas, the scenes in this room are not from any opera that anyone can identify. It is yet another of the many mysteries associated with the life of the fairy tale king.
Maybe they had nothing to do with opera then. Okay, I think that's actually everything now. So let's just exit out of this. So let's exit out. And now we are going to go to this place here. So let's talk to this lady first.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Sounds so friendly. Let's ask her if this is the Ludwig Museum. Yeah.
Ist das die Ludwig Museum?
Ja, ja. Ludwig der Zweite von Bayern.
She's so passive aggressive. Or maybe just aggressive.
Ich hätte gern eine Eintrittskarte fürs Museum.
Ja, 8 Mark für eine Ganztagskarte.
Don't know what she said then. Do you have to check my stuff? I did give you the right amount. Gotta say, I love the hairdo.
So,
Danke.
bitte.
Wow. So much friendliness. Right, so let's start with this little area here.
July 3rd, 1863. Elizabeth, you can have no idea, dear cousin, how happy you made me. The hours recently passed with you in the railway carriage I consider among the happiest in my life. Never will their memory fade. You gave me permission to visit you at Ischl. If the time comes for this ardent hope to be fulfilled, I shall be of all men upon earth the most blessed. The feelings of sincere love and reverence and faithful attachment to you, which I cherished in my heart even as a boy, makes me imagine heaven upon earth and will be extinguished by death alone. I beg you with all my heart to forgive the contents of this letter, but I could not help myself. Ludwig.
Why send it then if you can't help you? Like, if you don't want someone to see the contents of the letter, why send it? I don't understand. But sure, okay, let's carry on.
Elizabeth frequently gave Ludwig advice on royal conduct, hoping to protect him from unfavorable public opinion. March 1st, 1865. My dearest Eagle, you have not written me in a few months. I have missed you. I often try to imagine what you are doing. I hear tales that you have been on retreat and have not been seen in Munich for some time. I suspect it is this new friend you wrote up so mysteriously that takes you away from home. I hope you are enjoying yourself, my beloved, but I beg you to caution. The people need to see you at the throne. I also hesitate to suggest that what your officials do in your absence may not always be in your own best interest. You have always been a true king, but you must let the people see you to ensure that they don't forget that. E, your dove.
All right. Moving along.
Ludwig's friends were concerned for his mental state long before his arrest. June 14th, 1878. My beloved Eagle, in your last letter you spoke so movingly of your torment that I was moved to tears. What is this torment? Why won't you confess to me what is truly troubling you? You must know that I would never despise you, no matter how horrible you believe your sins to be. Please do not write such barbs to my heart by even suggesting such things. If you do not wish to confess to me, at least tell me how I can aid you. I am always your true one, your dove.
All right. And then we have the last one, which for some reason looks... I don't know if it's just me, but this looks like a pink background.
In this letter, dated November 1886, Elizabeth of Austria thanks Bishop Frank for his assistance in helping her fulfill Ludwig's last wishes. She writes that she knows it was an unusual request, but she believes Ludwig had reasons of his own for wishing it to be done. She hopes that his spirit finds peace at last. No further reference to this letter has ever been found. One can only speculate what the last wishes of a cornered and embattled Ludwig might have been. What were his last wishes? This place is giving me more questions than answers.
We need to find out his last wishes. Oh, here they are.
They certainly make an incredible looking couple.
She was pretty. Oh, is that her?
She's beautiful.
Okay, what do we have here?
One of Ludwig's few close friends was Empress Elizabeth of Austria. She was a distant cousin of the boy Prince, and he saw her often growing up. Graceful and beautiful, Elizabeth seemed to represent the feminine ideal to the younger Ludwig. Their friendship continued after her marriage, mainly by correspondence. She remained a source of stability for Ludwig throughout his life. In keeping with Ludwig's love of romance and drama, he called her the Dove, and he to her was the Eagle.
Oh, so she was married. Well, that was a little bit of flirting going on, I think, so... Bad, Elizabeth. Bad. You're a married woman.
Ludwig is Prince Charming. He played the part well.
I think Grace likes him. Start with here. What's this?
Richard Wagner.
Is that what he looked like?
Ludwig's diary. Ludwig kept a diary from 1869 when he was 24 years old until his death. The diary provides a fascinating look into the mind of this tormented man. The original diary is kept in the Royal Archives. A few entries are shown on the opposite wall. I've got to see that diary. Looks like it weighs a ton.
It does.
Ludwig's Grand Master wardrobe from the Knights of St. George.
Okay.
He looks so regal. Why would he give up all of this pageantry and become a recluse? Ludwig is Grand Master of the Knights of St. George. The Knights of St. George was an aristocratic society dedicated to the acts of chivalry. Ludwig loved the medieval pageantry of the order in his early years, before his increasing reclusiveness drove him to abandon public appearances.
Alright, and then we...
Ludwig, Grand Master of the Knights of St. George. There's gotta be a connection between all this St. George stuff and Gabriel.
Well, we will find out.
Ludwig and Wagner. Ludwig loved the opera of his contemporary Richard Wagner. He helped support Wagner's music through much of his life. Ludwig considered Wagner a close friend, often calling him the great friend. Wagner encouraged this infatuation, some believe, for personal gain.
Typical artist.
Okay. Oh, this is Ludwig's diary.
Even after Wagner's death, Ludwig still showed signs of obsession with the composer. This letter, written in 1882 by Ludwig to the conductor of the Munich Opera, instructs the conductor to make preparations for a new Wagner opera. The conductor went to see the king as instructed. When he arrived, Ludwig was ill and refused to see him. Nothing further was ever heard of this mysterious new opera. Was it a figment of an ill man's desperate wishes?
Indeed.
Ludwig is offered a crown of laurels by the genius of immortal fame.
Alright.
26 July 1874. By the power of the lily, we shall have the strength to resist all temptations throughout the whole year.
What temptations?
26 July 1875. Solemn oath before the picture of the great king. Refrain for 3 months from all excitement. This oath has its binding power as well as its potency by de par le Roy, LNR, DPLR.
What excitement. I need to see more of that diary.
Okay. Let's see. Now we'll go this side.
June 7th, 1886. A group of men arrive at Neuschwanstein Castle demanding to take the king in custody. With them is Dr. Guden, the doctor who had been in charge of Otto, the king's mentally ill brother. The men have an order for the king's arrest on the grounds of insanity. They are refused admittance by a brave group of farmers and local soldiers who have come to Ludwig's aid. They are forced to retreat to nearby Hohenschwangau. This is the first Ludwig hears of the conspiracy.
Ludwig composes a pamphlet explaining the subversive acts of the conspirators and eloquently pleading with his people for aid. The pamphlet is smuggled out of Neuschwanstein and printed, but the pamphlets are seized before they can be distributed.
Oh no.
June 12, 1886. Ludwig knows the conspirators will return. He despairs. He asks his servant for the keys to the tower. The servant, fearing the king intends suicide, says the key is lost. Unbeknownst to Ludwig, the conspirators arrive at the castle. This time, there is no one to stop them. Ludwig is lured from his bedroom to the entry hall of Neuschwanstein on pretense. There, he is taken into custody. Ludwig is taken by carriage from Neuschwanstein to Berg, where his brother Otto had long been imprisoned. This is a great blow to the king's state of mind. While on the way, the group stops at Seeshaupt to change horses. Ludwig asks to see the postmistress, Frau Vogel. She brings him a glass of water and he says something to her. She never reveals these last words to anyone.
Okay, I wonder what's in that tower then. I guess we have to try to get to the tower.
June 13th, 1886. At Berg, Ludwig seems cooperative and coherent. Dr. Guden writes to the government that he has Ludwig well under control. The two men go out for a walk, and Dr. Guden is so confident he dismisses the guards.
When Ludwig and the doctor do not return after several hours, a search is undertaken. The bodies of the two men are found in the lake, drowned. Circumstances unknown.
Alright, well we are gonna have to look into that as well, I think.
June 18th, 1886. Ludwig's funeral procession marches through the streets of Munich, followed by enormous crowds of mourners. The service is held at a packed St. Michael's church. Lightning strikes the church during the service, but no one is harmed.
Ludwig's body is entombed in the Wittelsbach crypt at St. Michael's. His heart is placed in an urn in the pilgrimage chapel at Altading in the Wittelsbach tradition. The urn is shown to the right. His heart is in an urn. How bizarre.
That's not really bizarre when the ancient Egyptians did it for quite some time.
Oh my God. That's the slave from my dream.
Oh.
Maybe Mrs. Smith will know what my dream meant. I have to ask someone. This thing is getting too weird. Ludwig embarking on his sleigh.
Okay, let's see.
The midnight sleigh rides. Ludwig went on long sleigh rides in the middle of the night, particularly in his later years. It is said that he suffered from insomnia, headaches, and toothaches, and the rides soothed his restlessness.
That's a lot of aches.
The sight of the king's grand sleigh speeding through the countryside of the Alps often startled the peasants and became a superstitious omen of ill fortune. I can see why. But what was he doing out there at night?
No idea. Apparently, he was soothing his headaches and his toothaches and his other whatever it was.
Ludwig embarking on his
We already saw that. Okay, what's this?
December 14th, 1881, Linderhof. Order another work by Jennings on the occult. Write urgently to Klug saying that I insist that the stoppages by the bank cease. I want it, and therefore it must be done. Write very urgently. He must succeed at once, and then must report to me urgently. If I give orders to clear my room, doing so must not be postponed as it happened. Pencils must be pointed without special orders. The day after tomorrow, 1,000 marks. How is Louis now? I want to know whether he looks unhappy. How often have I said that the coffee must not come up boiling hot, so that it can only be drunk after standing an hour? If any more correspondence come from Louis, they are to be burnt immediately, but I am to be informed of their arrival.
Okay, well, some of that doesn't make much sense.
These are actual notes from Ludwig to his servants. They go far in showing the king's state of mind. They were smuggled out and used as evidence in compiling the order for Ludwig's arrest.
Oh, maybe he wasn't crazy. Maybe he just liked his pencils being sharpened. That makes sense.
December 18th, 1881, Linderhof. Every day get up earlier for certain. See to that very particularly. Write it down. Remember that when the great friend arrives at Neuschwanstein, we retire to the hall. We are not to be disturbed. I will not tolerate interference or insubordination.
Alright, he really liked that friend, didn't he?
Ludwig's death mask. Wow.
And it's that thing again.
I have no idea what that says.
Me?
Looks old,
Me
though.
neither. Is there no way we can write it down? Doesn't look like it. Oh, we do have a notebook. Can we use that? No? Well, apparently she doesn't want to note it down either. So let's talk to her again.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Is there any way to see more of Ludwig's diary?
Ludwigs Tagebuch. Im Museum?
Ja,
Wo kann ich Ludwigs Tagebuch hier anschauen?
die Tagebücher sind ganz persönlich. Die sind in den königlichen Archiven. Niemand darf die lesen.
Aber
Nein, niemand darf die lesen.
danke.
Okay. That was very violent. I'm guessing she said that it's very personal and that she wasn't allowed to read it. Let's just go and ask her the other thing. Let's hope she's in a better mood now. She wants to talk to me.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Let's see. Do you know anything about the new Wagner opera?
Im Museum es einen Brief von Ludwig über eine neue Wagner-Oper.
Ja, ja, ich kenne diesen Brief.
Wo kann ich mehr von dieser Wagner-Oper sehen?
Ja, ich weiß nichts über Wagner. Das hier ist kein Wagner-Museum.
Ja, ich weiß.
In Bayreuth befindet sich ein Wagner-Museum. Versuchen Sie es halt doch, ne?
Bayreuth. Danke.
See, she smiled. Oh my goodness, she can smile. So, some German words are a little bit like Swedish words, so I think what she said is that she doesn't know anything about Wagner because this is not a Wagner museum. Wagner museum. That's it, Wagner. So it's not a Wagner museum. And then she said that but there is somewhere else. So let's see what's gone. There we go. That is where we're going to head to next. Oh, who's this chap?
Grüß Gott.
Guten Tag. Ist das die Wagner Museum?
Yeah, you're an American, aren't you? I'm afraid the house is closed this time of year. It will be open next month.
Crap.
You are interested in Wagner?
Very interested. Very recently very interested.
Yeah. Most of the house is closed for cleaning, but a few rooms are open. I shouldn't let you probably, but if it is only you, you are alone, aren't you?
Endlessly.
He's flirting.
Come in and look over.
That's very generous. What do I owe you?
Georg Emmerding. It's only a few displays. Besides, I wouldn't be much of a shining knight if I charged you.
Thanks, Georg. My name is Grace.
Hello. Have a good time.
I will. I don't know if he was flirting with her. Who knows? Maybe. Can I not talk to him? Yeah, I can talk to him. Let's ask him about himself.
What are you doing here if the museum is closed?
They always like to have a caretaker here. It's a good job for me. I can soak in the atmosphere of the maestro while I compose.
What are you composing?
This? Oh, a new arrangement. One of Wagner's pieces.
For the Bayreuth Opera?
No. I am only a student at the university. I study music, composition, conducting.
Alright, let's ask him more about himself.
Is there much of a call for conductors in Europe?
Ask my brother. He is the conductor for the Munich Opera.
Well, that's convenient. Does that mean you get free opera tickets?
Yes. I get a week's pass to the Opernfestspiele, the opera festival in Munich. It starts in a few months.
That's cool.
Hope I'm still around to see it.
Come with me if you like. If you're still around, I can go backstage and all sorts of things.
I'd love that. If I'm still in Germany, I'll call you, all right?
Yeah, good.
Oh, get in there, Grace. Get in there.
Tell me about Wagner.
He was a character. He spent most of his life trying to convince rich patrons to subsidize his work. Unfortunately, he had expensive tastes. You see, he believed that someone of his genius deserved to live well. Can't argue with that.
But Ludwig II supported him, didn't he?
Yeah, sure, but Ludwig came along very late in Wagner's life. By then, he had already been run out of Venice and most major cities because of debt. Ludwig saved him. And the music. Best thing Ludwig ever did.
Ludwig's letter to the conductor.
Have you ever heard about the letter that Ludwig wrote to the Munich conductor in 1882 telling him to prepare for a new Wagner opera?
You're full of surprises for an American.
What do you know about it?
No one knows anything about it. It's like a treasure map, you know. It's probably a complete fairy tale, but it does make you wonder.
You have no idea what it could have referred to? Maybe something that Wagner was working on with Ludwig?
If there was, there's no trace of it. Except perhaps in the dreams of unemployed music students.
Okay, wolf panels at Neusch... No, I can't even say that word.
Have you ever heard about the wolf panels in the Singers' Hall at Neuschwanstein?
Did my brother send you here?
No.
Probably not. It's only the letter to the conductor, the wolf panels. Oh, my brother thinks I am crazy because of all my theories.
What theories?
This is Quatsch. If there was a lost opera, a lost Wagner opera, and if one could find it, to a conductor, this would be like finding King Tut's tomb. But people have looked for it before. If it ever existed, it is gone forever. My brother says I waste my time even thinking about it.
That's very confusing because how can you lose an opera hall? I mean, they're pretty big.
I'm curious. Is there any other information that points to the lost opera besides Ludwig's letter and the wolf panels?
It's nothing. I'm not even supposed to have seen it. You see, my brother says that Wagner was too egotistical to have produced a lost opera. If he was working on something new, every person in Bayreuth would have heard about it. On the other hand, it was in Ludwig's character to have wanted a private opera.
But it wouldn't have been private. Ludwig's letter shows he intended it to be played in Munich.
Yes, but that it would get so far without Wagner telling others? Why keep it a secret?
Maybe there was a very good reason for secrecy.
For example?
Like,
Oh no.
never mind.
Alright, what's this?
What's that book in the case?
What's this?
Cosima Wagner's journal is locked up for preservation.
Huh.
I don't have anything to add. Cosima was Wagner's wife, I think. She probably just talks about him in her journal.
Okay, let's start with the piano. What is the piano?
Wagner's piano. On this piano, the maestro composed his later operas, including The Ring.
The Ring? What, the scary movie? I don't think so.
Franz Liszt, composer and Cosima Wagner's father.
Oh, I thought it was a girl. Well, learn something new.
Richard Wagner.
That's a cool beard. That's like a neck beard right there. What's this?
An old sofa.
Oh, no shit.
The Death of Wagner. On Ash Wednesday, 1883, Wagner suffered a heart attack in a Venetian gondola on the way to Saint Michel. His wife and the gondolier carried him into a church where he regained consciousness. Wagner died 4 days later on this sofa.
That's sad.
Wagner's death mask.
And his hand, apparently.
Wagner's desk, exactly as it was on the day he died. It's a letter from a Monsieur Beaujolais, dated September 1881. Looks like he's discussing acoustics and sound waves, and crystals. Wasn't Wagner's Bayreuth Theater already built? Why would Wagner be worrying about acoustics?
Maybe this is the lost opera.
It looks like an architectural drawing of a theater. The Wittelsbacher Theater, München. Every square inch is measured.
Let's go into this room.
The great patron himself.
No, we can't look at that. Who's this?
Ludwig as the classical Greek hero.
And then we have, what's this? Oh, this is his death mask again, isn't it?
Ludwig's death mask.
Yeah, we've seen this already.
A portrait given as a gift from Ludwig to Wagner.
Here's a present for you. Here's a picture of me.
June 10th, 1881, Munich residence. Great friend. I am writing to you in the middle of the night. My blood is pounding too wildly for sleep. Tonight's performance, how can I describe it? I am unsure whether to be terrified or thrilled. Perhaps I even feel hopeful. If it is hope, you have given it to me, my friend, for the first time in years. We must speak. Something happened during the music tonight, but I must have your absolute confidence. As you love me, come at once. Your devoted king, Ludwig.
Okay.
July 1882. Great and beloved king, Monsieur Beaujolais and I have finished the diagram. We checked the figures many times, and Monsieur is confident that it will work. 8 identical fixtures are to be made from the diagram and placed in the theater exactly as specified. I'm sending the diagram with your courier. Be full of hope and have courage. All will be well. Your own, Wagner.
Definitely sounds like they were building something. Let's go into this room. What's around here?
Opera costumes.
Oh wait, we have pictures.
These look like production designs. I don't see anything that looks like those wolf paintings in Neuschwanstein, though.
Okay, this side.
These look like production. I don't see.
Same. Is that everything? What's this?
This must be a model of Wagner's own theater here in Bayreuth.
Okay. Okay. And then I think it's back out here. Well, that wasn't a lot of rooms. He's right. Let's see if we can talk to him again.
Do you know anything about that letter from Wagner to Ludwig in the display case? The one about the diagram?
Ah. No. Some sort of equipment for Ludwig's theater. But I don't know why Wagner would have cared about this. If he was worried about any theater, you would think it would have been his own theater, here, in Bayreuth.
Yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's just pretty much just the information. I would love to hear you guys' theory, so feel free to leave a comment down below telling me your theory and what you think you have gained from this information and how it relates to the story. If you like the video, why not give it a thumbs up? If you haven't subscribed already, then feel free to do so, and I will see you in the next episode. So until then, stay awesome. Oh my goodness me! What on earth is that? That is the weirdest looking thing I've ever seen. Turn it into a lubberkin.